Alright, welcome back, Hatt Clan fam. I got an awesome video for you today. Today we're going to be talking all about apps. Yes, not just any types of apps, but specifically music apps that I believe every single guitar player should have on their cell phone or their iPad for all kinds of different purposes. So we're going to be counting down today's top 5 apps that I think you all should have as a guitar player. Let's get to it. Alright, so let's get to it. So starting out with number 1, I highly recommend that you get some type of tablet or some type of iPad. I recently just got that. I've had this maybe less than a year now. I got it last Christmas, and it has been a huge game changer for me. I have actually compiled every single piece of music that I have in the iPad. So I used to go from carrying all of these types of books and classical guitar sheet books and jazz reel books and all this stuff I would carry in a big bag. Cue the B-roll. If only there was some type of device that I could just put all this music in so I never had to carry it all the time. It's just so frustrating. It's so heavy, it kills my back. God, it seems like in the 21st century there would be some type of device that we could just put all of our music in so we didn't have to carry all these to teach and go to gigs and throw out our shoulder. You know, most musicians can't afford health care, so it just seems like there would be an easier way. Oh, why can't there just be an easier way? Anyway, I would have all of the stuff that I would carry in a bag, and it would be on the way to the gig, and I would have all this gear that I had to carry, and this really was a big lifesaver. It minimized all my music compiled directly into one device. So I want to talk about this first app now. Alright, so let me set up the screen recording here. So the first app that I really love that I compile all my music is called Fourscore. I believe it's like $11.99, and what's really cool is you can title all of your sections of music in these playlists in which you have all these different types of music, so you can even narrow it down by artist. So like, let's say you just want to look at Fernando Sor music. You can compile it in these playlists where you have all of this music, and I just set this up on my music stand, and I never ever have to worry again about carrying books. So Fourscore is a super awesome. I just love it. I can't say enough great things about it. And what's so nice about this is the iPad's battery lasts a really long time. So I use this literally for so many different gigs. I have never ever brought a book to a gig ever again since I have gotten to use this as a primary tool. So check this out. Normally what I would do is I would have this on screen like this, and I would grab my guitar, and I would just set this up on the music stand, and I would start playing it. Voila, no more necessary needs for books. So number 1, Fourscore. Alright, so number 2 is obviously kind of a given. I really like using any type of metronome. I think it's really important. This right here is called Pro Metronome, and it's a super awesome metronome that you can do a lot of things with, and I really enjoy this because I use this a lot with my students and also in my own personal practice. But what's really nice about this is there's so many different things that you can do with this metronome. There is a paid version of it and a free version. I use the free version. But there's all different kinds of things that you can do, all kinds of different tones and different sounds. You can, obviously emphasize certain beats. You can do certain divisions, like if you want to do triplet rhythms. There's literally so many different possibilities that you can do with this app, and all kinds of different sounds. If you prefer a different sound over the other. Pro Metronome, I use this a lot in every single facet of my playing, with teaching and also with the private students and my own personal use. So definitely check out Pro Metronome. So another favorite of mine is this app called Piano Tuner. I think everybody should always have some sort of extra tuner, just in case you don't have like one of these headstock ones. If you're ever in a bind, it's always really nice to have an extra one just laying around. So this is Piano Tuner. I find that this is typically fairly accurate. As you can see, it's telling me that my voice is sharp and flat. And I always use this just in case, again, my battery dies in my tuner or in the guitars that I'm using or pedals or whatever, and I always have an extra spare one, which is really important to have. So definitely check out Piano Tuner. Okay, so coming in at number 4 is called IRealPro. This is another app. I believe it's around $15 or so, and it is definitely worth it. So basically what IRealPro is the chord changes to any single jazz standard that you can think of, and you can import all kinds of different jazz standards that people upload, and you can change the keys and you can play along with them. So Song for My Father, which is this one jazz standard that I've been working on a little bit, these are actually the chord changes for it, and you can play it and you can get the chord changes with the chord diagrams, which is really awesome to have. So if you ever are in a situation where somebody asks you to play a certain tune or a jazz standard that you're unfamiliar with and you've never heard of it before, 95% of the time that jazz standard is going to be in this book of playlists of music called IRealPro. Definitely worth the $15. I've used this a lot already, and it's really cool to have the chords, so when you are practicing it, you can change the tempo in it if you're learning the song, and you have all kinds of different choices on whether you have the chord diagrams or the piano or the actual tab for it. It's a really super versatile app, and I highly recommend IRealPro. Definitely should check that out. Okay, so coming in at number 5, which I think is a really important app that everybody should have, is some type of scanner. So you might be wondering, well, this isn't technically music, but I will tell you why. So you may be asking, how do you get all of your music into like Fourscore or whatever type of, notation software that you're using for an iPad? You need to scan it in. Now, you can obviously use a printer or some type of scanner, but we live in the 21st century, which is really awesome. So I use this app called Geniusscan, and I'll show you how it works. So let's say you have your piece of music like this that you want to scan in to Fourscore. What I would do is I would load up on here, I would say scan from camera, and what this essentially is going to do is this is going to analyze this piece of music. It might not do it right now because I'm screen recording, but I would take a photo of that, such as so, and what I would do is I would take that and I would edit this down, and this is all free, by the way, and I would recrop this into position so that I like it the way that it is, and then bam, I would change the color on it so that it looks like it's scanned. Let me recrop this a little bit just because I don't like how this is in here. I can get rid of this a little bit. And then bam, look at that. You have your scanned music from your book directly on your iPad, and then you would import that directly into Fourscore. And this is what I've been doing, again, for the last few months since I got this iPad for Christmas, and this is all I use nowadays, is just scanning in my music and putting it directly into Fourscore. I think it's a super vital thing to have as a growing musician and as a working musician, because what's really nice about this is, let's say you have a piece of music that you've never seen before and somebody gives it to you through a book. You can always just take it from the book that it's from, scan it in, and then bam, you have it right there. And instead of carrying all these different books, whatever pieces you're working on or composers, you have it directly all in one app, which is super handy and super cool. Okay, so the very last app that I want to talk about, which is kind of a given, which I think is really nice, and I'll put this as like a two-parter, is always to have YouTube and like Ultimate Guitar Tabs. Now, I don't use Ultimate Guitar Tabs that much unless I'm really in a pinch and a student wants to learn a song right on the spot, just because I don't know how accurate it is, because Ultimate Guitar Tabs, the way that it works is there's a lot of different people that will put their music on there that they wrote out themselves, and not always is it necessarily right, so you always do have to be careful about that. But Ultimate Guitar Tabs is really cool if you're in a pinch and you need to learn the chords for whatever song. Let's just pick up a really simple song here. So, okay, I had a student that wanted to learn the Pina Colada song for ukulele when I was teaching him a couple weeks ago. And this kind of gives you an idea of, what it kind of sounds like, and then moving into YouTube, which is really nice, then you can fact check that song and listen to it by ear, which is nice. So always have a way to look up the chords in case you can't find it yourself or you can't pick it up by ear, and YouTube is always really good to have on there as well. Alright guys, that was the video. I hope you really liked it. These apps are really helpful, and they've helped me in my own personal playing, and just I love sharing tools and knowledge that I can to other musicians that may not be as aware of the things that are out there for them to learn. And it really does help your experience in music and just learning and making things more easy for you as a musician. So I hope you really liked this. Let me know what you'd like to see next. And again, if you want to take private lessons with me, I have a couple open spots in my current private studio here, so we can definitely set that up. Just shoot me an email and we'll go over all the details if you're ever interested in learning any of this stuff in a more deeper level. So with all that being said, I hope you guys are all well and take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.